Let's Brother Peter with tidbits from the Word. So proud to be with you this afternoon, and we're going to look in the Bible for a few minutes. We're going to look at a contrast. Many things in the Bible contrast one thing against the other. For instance, if you're reading in the book of Proverbs, Proverbs has a contrast. It will say light and night, day and night. That would be light and darkness, the contrast. You say water and dry, wet and dry. That's a contrast. And what a contrast is weighing two different things. And over here in the book of Acts, Paul was speaking to a group of people. These were Jewish people. These were people that followed the law. And Paul followed the law before he was saved on the road to Damascus. And because of that, the road, all right. So anyway, Paul got saved on this road, and the great light came and shined on him, blinded him. Jesus appeared to him and blinded him. And so he began to study. He began to follow God. He took a year right after that and studied ardently. And he took some time. And what he's saying here, he's talking to Jewish people that understood circumcision. Circumcision was the circumcision of the piece of flesh that was attached to a man's body at a period of time when he was a baby, that was cut off and thrown away. And in that day they used that word, and it could be a scurvy piece of flesh, and because it could get scurvy and be a scurvy piece of flesh, they cut it away and threw it away. But on the other hand, when the time came for God said for circumcision to come into effect, before they did it to 8-day-old babies, there was a group of men, grown men. And what God was trying to do, he was trying to show them the depravity of man. By cutting that foreskin off was showing the depravity of man. God said, this is how your heart looks. He said, you can see this. You can see the problem we're having here, that we've got disease run rampant, and we're having problems because y'all have been cutting this piece of skin off where you should be and throwing it away so that you won't have all these germs and disease and things gathering here in this particular place. So he is showing circumcision as getting rid of that which was bad, which was terrible. And so he talks about it. Now he said, you have uncircumcised ears. Now what he's saying is you need to circumcise what goes in your ears. You need to cut it off. Somebody comes to you, let me tell you a little joke. Don't say, I don't want to hear it. My ears are no trash cans. I've been working in a place of late where every time I see this guy coming down the hall, he's a grinning and a smiling, and he's got a dirty joke on his mind and on his lips, and he'll proceed to tell it. And I say, hey, my ears ain't no trash can. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear no off-colored joke. Oh, it ain't bad. Well, what he calls ain't bad is terrible. And my ears have been circumcised from such. I don't listen to those jokes. I don't listen to the music of the world. People say to me, you know that group. What group? Never heard them. Don't want to hear them. Never heard about them. By the way, a turtle to me has always been a turtle, not a group. The different things that I hear today have been different things. I don't understand where they pull these names out of the hat from. All right. So he said, you have uncircumcised lips. The lips of your mouth aren't circumcised. What's he saying? He's saying they're filthy. They're trashy. Like that piece of circumcised meat I tell you to cut off and throw away and get rid of it and end that problem. He said, now circumcise your lips and end that problem. The problem of a nasty, dirty mouth. End that problem by circumcising your lips. When I got saved, I had the filthiest mouth that anybody ever had on a human body. And the Lord circumcised my lips. He cut away all that cussing, swearing, ugly talk, dirty, filthy, mean, rotten stuff that I used to do and say. And now he's talking about an uncircumcised heart. By the way, we're in chapter 18 and verse 51. And so, an uncircumcised heart, that's a heart that desires everything but what God would have it desire. A man that desires everything but God, that's an uncircumcised heart. That's a heart that's not saved. People tell me, they say, well, I got saved, I'm saved, and my heart is after God. Yet they do things and say things that are not. If you're a man, and every time you look at a female, your eyes run up and down her and you think all kinds of thoughts. You're not, and then you claim salvation, there's something wrong. This truth is against each other. You need to circumcise. You need to cut away, circumcise, cut away that thinking. You need to do something about that. You know how I did it? I had the same problem. I'm a man. I had the same problem. You know how I cut it away? I said, Lord, one day, I'm looking down I'm painting the First Baptist Church in a town. I'm looking down in the car, seeing how much leg I can see on that woman. And I said to the Lord, I got a problem, Lord. How do I end it? And the Lord said this. He said, you look at the soul of that woman. You think about if she died right now, will she go to heaven or will she go to hell? I guarantee it. You do that and you will do away with that fleshly, rotten, nasty, sinful desire that you have for somebody else's wife or some other woman. And by the way, you'll get so depraved. You will get so depraved if you get in that mode today, and the evil spirits out there today, that you would look even at your own daughter or your own mother the same way. That is depravity. That is depravity. You will get that depraved if you follow that train of thought. So you need to work on that, man, woman, boy, girl, whoever you are. You need to circumcise that heart. And then he says you need to circumcise the desires of the flesh, other than an opposite sex, the desires of the flesh. Overeating. You say, well, I just can't quit eating. I eat and eat and eat and eat and eat, and I weigh 382 pounds and I'm headed for 400. And it looks at things, I'm going to get there. Well, you need to circumcise your eating. You need to cut off your eating. If you have to sew your mouth up, you need to do something to cause you to start going the other direction. It is a job. It is a work in progress. We all, every one of us on this earth, are a work in progress. I am the work in progress. I have a hard time to stay where I am. 183, 184 pounds, 5 feet 7 inches, and I should only be about 168 at maximum. So I'm 20 pounds overweight, and I stay 20 pounds overweight. Why? I'm not cutting down. I'm not cutting off. I need to cut off or cut down to where I will be cut down to where I should be. Now, the opposite of that is, are you of honest report? Are you of honest report? Are you holy? Do you live holy? Are you? Do you have wisdom of God, the wisdom of God on your life and in your life? Do you have the power? Are you full of the power of God? Over there in Timothy, 1 Timothy, he said, be instant, in season and out of season, using the power of God. You got to circumcise the old and put on the new.